is a training consultant and he loves photography. He aspires to become an international speaker and travel the world. I am personally inspired by his accent. In fact, sometimes I try to copy him. He is none other than Toastmaster Srinivas.
Good evening, Toastmasters and distinguished guests.
Good evening.
When I was growing up, I was not one of those smart kids, but certainly one of those nice kids. People used to say, "What a nice guy this guy is." I'll talk more about that later on. And as I grew into my college days, the choice was between, those days the choice was only between engineering and medical. And so I said, which one to choose? I was confused because I neither was good in mathematics nor was I good in biology. So I was kind of confused. I said, I'm never going to get educated. And again, sometimes solutions have an uncanny way of knocking on your door. And what happened was this neighbor shows up in my house and she says, Srini, what's your plan? I said, I don't know. I'm confused. So she said, let me tell you what you can do. Go for hotel management. And I said, oh, what's that? Never heard of that before. And this I'm talking about 27 years back, right? And she said, oh, you know what? You're smart and good looking, right? And you will love the glamour world. Now I fell for that. Glamour world? Me? Wow. What else can I ask for? So I went and did my hotel management against my parents' wishes. They weren't happy at all. They said, Srini, what are you doing? Engineering, medical, that's all. I said, I'm sorry. So I went for my hotel management, I finished my course, and then I said, let me go look for the glamour in the hotels. And I walked into the hotel, and what do I see? I see long hours of work, and I see pleasing, unreasonable guests. And I said, okay, I did learn something. And that was what my hotel experience was. I spent quite a number of years in the hotel. And then in 2004, I got a great opportunity to work on a cruise ship, traveling around the world. I traveled to the Caribbean Islands, the Baltic Sea, the Mediterranean, the east coast of US, and a jolly good time. And two of the ports that I really want to go back to, from some holiday, one is in Halifax, Canada, beautiful place, and the second is Bar Harbor in the US. If you want to eat the best lobster, that's the place to go, right? And after spending 11 years in a cruise line, I decided to leave and do something on my own. I came back to India, and now I'm working as a training consultant, doing leadership coaching and training. Global, after spending so many years abroad, I decided to set some global goals for myself. One is to become an international speaker. And second is I want to travel the length and breadth of Europe on my Royal Enfield. And this I want to do it before 2020. And I love traveling. I want to be on the move all the time. Now, one of the things I want to go back is to my childhood again, was when my mother used to say, Srini, you're the best kid. You're the nicest kid. Why? Because you never say no. You say yes to everything. Whatever I ask you, you do it any time of the day. And this is what she used to tell everybody. Srini is a nice kid. Because he never says no. And I felt good about it. I said, yeah, that's very nice. So I grew up to be a nice kid and a yes man. I would say yes to everybody. Somebody said, Srini, do this for me? Yes. Do that for me? Yes. It became a habit for me. And as I grew up into the workplace, somebody said, Srini, can you do this for me? I said, yes. I felt good about it because, everybody would call me. So, Srini, do this for me, do that for me. And I would do it. There was a negative side to it because I never saw any gratitude or thank you from people. They would only take help from me, but not. And I used to wonder, what happened? What did I do wrong? Unfortunately, I could never understand. Some things are a habit. And habits take effort to change. And I wasn't putting in effort to change myself. And then when I joined Royal Caribbean in 2004, I was forced to change. It was an event. I was supposed to come home on vacation. And my son was finishing his 10th standard graduation and he was looking forward to my visit. I was supposed to be there with him when he was taking that certificate. And it happened that 3 days before, my manager comes and tells me, Srini, I wanted to extend my 2 weeks. And I said, why? I said, but I have to go. He said, no, ifs and buts. You're staying. And I couldn't say no. So I stayed. I stayed at the expense of, letting down my son, my wife, because they're very upset. They said, Srini is coming home, and I did not. And so for me, that event is, even today, when I think of that event, it causes a lot of distress to me actually when I think of that event, because it's a family event, and I missed it. But I learned something very critical that day. I said, family comes first, nothing may come there. And what I did was, I came home, they weren't happy to see me, of course, and the following year, the same manager sends me a mail saying, Srini, can you come home, can you come to work 2 weeks early? And I said, and what I did was very simple and straight. I sent a nice mail to him with a polite, no, I'm not coming. I knew you wouldn't be happy, but I didn't care. And so that's exactly for me, was a learning for me. I made a conscious effort to change, I changed, I learned to say no. And so my learning, as well as the message to all of you, is first, is become an assertive speaker, or an assertive communicator. Learn to say yes, and then no, and a firm no. Anything other than no is a yes, right? And the third thing I learned was, your family commitments is about everything else. And for me, that's the most important thing. Thank you very much.